and I was becoming a little bit more resentful, envy, and decided to also show up in the way I was acting towards her.
People have history. People have the things that made them. People have their experience. They have their trauma.
But you don't realize that you're part of a bigger picture. The way you are shaped, the way you look. Yes, the way you look.
Hi guys, welcome to today's podcast episode, and we are on part 2 of comparisons. And today I have with me an amazing friend. Her name is Blessing Aliyu, the Blessing Aliyu, right? And then I just had to just bring her on board so we can just talk about this, heart-to-heart conversation. Maybe she will say something on your mind, and also so that it's not just my point of view that we're hearing. So Blessing, welcome, and greet us.
Well, I don't know what to say. I'm so excited to be a part of this podcast today. I've actually been listening in for a while now, and I'm so happy that we get to talk about something very important. This topic is something that plagues every single human, whether you're, old, young, you're in business, you're maybe in school, whatever you're doing. At some point, you have compared yourself to somebody, or you've compared people to yourself. So I think this conversation is really important, and I'm just happy to be here.
I'm happy, to be honest. You said a very important point, in the sense that at every stage in life, it's not for maybe teenagers who are battling, puberty and esteem. Even when you are old, it's a relevant conversation, right? So, as we know that conversation is relevant, I want us to start with something practical, right? Let's tell the people our stories. Let's tell them, like, when we have gone through comparison. Don't tell them how we overcame it or how it went down. Just tell them, like, what happened, what was the trigger, what caused it. So you start with yours, or should I start with mine, and then you go next?
I think you should start first. I think you should start first.
Okay.
Story time.
So when I first started dating, courtship with my husband, right, I got started getting to know him, to learn about him and everything like that. I realized that, and everybody knows my husband, of course, knows that he's a gentle person, he's quiet, he's level-headed. It's not me, basically. I'm the one that is a jumper and everything. But before I got to know him, right, I have friends who are clownish. I'm not calling them clowns, but they are very funny guys. They know the right jokes, they know everything to just, get you laughed up and, your ribs are cracking, basically. But my husband's not like that, right? He's more into his research and everything like that. So I had that stage in my life, just very slight stage at the beginning of my courtship, when I was like, can't you just crack a joke like this person, right? And I'm very sure that when my husband is listening to this, it's going to be so surprised, because he didn't even see it, or there was no signs or anything like that. But then it was that place when it was in my thoughts. And remember I said last week, right, that comparison shows up in 2 different places, in your heart and in your mouth, right? And in your heart is the most, of all the places. So now, Blessing, before we go deeper into the story, I don't want to hear gist. Let me just allow Blessing share our own story.
Yes, everybody likes gist, even me. So that was actually very interesting. But I actually didn't know this part of the story as well. So very interesting.
Yeah, it's only in my head.
You see how interesting the heart can be, right? So we'll talk about that later on. But for me, I think I will talk from the standpoint of friendship. So there's someone I'm really, really close to here. She's an amazing person. She's very funny. She's like Oluchi. So I guess the roles in the relationship might be more reversed. So she's a funny one, she's a jovial one, and then I'm a bit more reserved and quiet. And sometimes when we are outside, I feel a little like, why can't I be more like her? Why can't I be more, jovial, more, more interesting, I would say, to be around, because people that are very funny are usually more interesting to be around. So I always used to compare myself, and something that was brought to my notice more recently, actually. So I guess as we go on, I'll tell you how I've navigated that season.
So it's interesting, because now we have 2 types of comparison, right? When you're comparing your partner to somebody else, and when you're even comparing your partner to yourself, right? So we have that out of the way. And one thing I wanted to just mention, because I mentioned that comparisons is in the heart and is in the mouth. But people ask, how does it show? Especially the one for the mouth and for the heart. How does comparison in the heart show? Because it's very subtle. Sometimes you'll not even see it. You don't know how you're acting. But people want to know, okay, what are the results? How do I know that I'm suffering from this? Right? So do you have any thoughts process on how you think it shows, maybe from your own experience? Because as I can see based on this discussion, you are speaking from a point of view of self-comparison, right? As comparing yourself to somebody else that you are in a friendship with, right? So how did this reflect in your attitude towards her, or just generally from other experiences that you have?
I think the first thing I would say, I'll just speak from my own, what happened to me, my own experience. I think the first thing that happened to me was I became more reserved. I became even more reserved than I am naturally. I started to go into a shell because in my mind, I'm already not, as interesting as she is. So let her have the spotlight and I'll just reel back in. And over time, it became almost like a resentment because I was just thinking to myself that, God, why did you just decide that? Where was I on the queue?
When you were
When
sharing.
where was I? And I was becoming a little bit more resentful, envy, and decided to also show up in the way I was acting towards her. So sometimes we'll be outside and maybe people are laughing and joking, and all of a sudden I just stop smiling. Meanwhile, I didn't even realize I was doing this thing consciously. So it was something that was happening in my subconscious. So your question, how can you start to know that you're, having this in your heart, is when you start to see that you're withdrawing, you're not confident, you're not confident in who you are anymore in an environment or in a situation, and the way you start to react towards the person maybe become a bit more triggered by what they say, or get a bit more things that will not usually offend you start to offend you. You know that you're already my sister and brother.
Very, very interesting. And you made a lot of valid points. And I really pray that people see themselves like in these points that you've made, right? And the first one I would like to say is that you became worse than the reason for the insecurity or for the comparison, you became worse inside of it. So it wasn't even making you to be better. And that's how comparison works, to be honest. Okay, there's a place of upward comparison. I think I mentioned the last week, but I mentioned in passing. In the sense whereby you see someone who is ahead of you and you aspire, maybe that's the right word to use, to be like them. But in most upward comparison, when it is not properly, when the heart is not properly worked upon, it doesn't come as just aspiration. It also comes in sense of envy. So it's aspiration mixed with envy. And when aspiration is mixed with envy, it produces resentment. It doesn't, you don't actually achieve that which you have already, like what you're aspiring to become. Very, very interesting that you said it. And you said that it shows in the subtle things. How you talk to the person, you get easily triggered by just little things.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting for me, right? And I would also buttress on that point, and I will talk about from the standpoint of when you're comparing yourself to your partner to somebody else, right? So I gave a very funny one for concerning me, but some people have very different ones, and I'm just going to give their expression regardless of the type of comparison, right? So you can be comparing based on height, comparing based on money, comparing based on size. You can be comparing based on, the list is endless, basically, right?
Honestly, that height word it's something I struggled with, so but let's not get into that. Please go on.
All right. So when you compare now your partner acts to somebody else, the first thing you start to do is to keep scores, and it also shows in self-comparison also too. You start to keep scores in the sense that you're saying, who would text first? Who will apologize first? Who will do this first? Who will do that first? You shift the responsibility of the growth of the friendship and the relationship to just your partner. You don't realize that you don't see it anymore as a two-way thing. You don't see it more as a relationship where you're supposed to grow yourself. You just keep looking at that person like, you are responsible for this, you should do this, you should do that, but it's not supposed to be like that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And then instead of it just being love that binds the relationship, it becomes more like a contract, right? And an account book. You are keeping accounts of, oh, she did this today, okay, he did this today, okay, he did this today. And in your own case, for example, okay, she's laughing out loud. She didn't even look at me when she was laughing. She didn't even try to bring me into the conversation. She didn't even try to see if I'm okay with this joke. She didn't even notice that. And I'm like, it all becomes, she didn't. It becomes blame passing. It becomes you saying, you just exonerate yourself from responsibility. And that's very bad because we're supposed to be responsible human beings, right? We're supposed to be people who are responsible for anything that we possess, responsible for ourselves and responsible for the things around us, right? And the second thing I would say, and second thing I would say now, is that we start to build invisible standards. So, Bless, I don't know if you've had a situation whereby you've compared someone you are in a friendship or relationship, any kind of ship with somebody else. Have you had such experience?
Yes, I definitely have. But there's one that was something I really, really struggled with. So I don't, not to get into too much details, but I was at the time seeing somebody, and before I was seeing this person, there was somebody else I was really close to, and the way this person acts was not the way I was with the other person. This person was more reserved, more quiet, but the other person I was with was more intellectual. We're always discussing about politics, about things that fed my quote unquote sapiosexual desires. And I always felt like, is it because why is this person not, more interested in politics or more interested in the topics that
Why
I
is
am
this not
interested
smart
in?
enough? Basically,
Why is that
that's
so smart?
yeah. Mhm.
Why are you not so smart? And I really struggled, to be very honest. I really, really struggled because I just didn't know what to talk about. And I think I will discuss this later on, but let me just quickly point out and say that I was very selfish because I didn't want to really know what the person enjoys or what the person really likes to talk about. By the time I started to, focus more on the person and what they were interested in, I was actually really, really interested and surprised because they're actually very brilliant. It was just, we had different interests at the time, and I wasn't really open to knowing more about their own interests. So I don't know if I answered the question. Did I?
Yeah, of course, you answered the question, and you now also answered the question I also discussed later, in the sense that what's the way out? Right? So I will just keep this point. I really hope I remember. And I will just also buttress it when I'm also talking about the way out. So I have the story of yours now, and I'm going to buttress it when I'm talking about the way out for my own. But you made a very important point. I want everybody to just note it. So in case we don't come back to it, is that one of the way out of comparisons in relationship is that get to know your partner. Get to know your friend. Stop being selfish. That's just one of the practical ways. Get to understand them. Get to know their likes. Get to know their dislikes. Get to know what actually, ticks them.
Yeah.
Turns out that my husband is an extremely funny person. Like, I'm laughing. I was saying to my friends some 2 days ago that I'm laughing. I'm happy. Like, any more laughter than this is already unserious. Maybe unserious life. Yeah. That's because I had to get to a place whereby I said, let me understand him. Let me understand his own sense of humor. Let me understand what makes him laugh, right? And that's what I'm doing daily. And that's the entire point of being in a relationship. This is not about dating. Even when you are friends with somebody, that's the entire point of being in that friendship with them. Why? Because you get to know, okay, what do they like? I also have a friend who is very serious human being. When everybody sees her, she's like, she's just bone face. She's going to watch that. She's like, she's talking about me. Yes, I'm talking about you. just bone her face. And I was like, why can you just like, life is not this difficult. Right? But then when you get to see her understand who she is, and now I'm not talking about like you have to see her outside. She's a laughing gas. But people will not see this. And if me, as a friend, I did not decide to see this in her, if I decided not to understand her, if I just say, now wow, so there's no even joy on your face at all, that kind of thing. If I just say that to her, then then I don't get to understand who she is and get to that intricate part of it. Right? So it's quite interesting. And I like the fact that we're talking about things that are like not substantial. For example, we're talking about being funny, having a particular character and things like that. But there's some things that don't change.
Yes.
For example, if your spouse is big in size, no matter how much you understand the person, you cannot understand slimness out of the person. That's what you want. You are trying to say, right? You cannot say that I will understand you so much and then you will just become slim, right? No, it's not. It doesn't work that way. But how do you deal with that one? That kind? Do you have any thoughts?
That's a very good question, actually. I think what comes to my mind is, first of all, you need to differentiate. You need to understand, like, when you are getting into a relationship with someone, whether it's friendship, whether it's family, whether it's, romantic relationship. You need to, first of all, study the person and understand the things that they can change and things that are not able to change, right? When you're able to differentiate what's the word I'm looking for? What is changeable? If you're able to determine this is something that is changeable, then of course you can work towards, together. Both of you can work together to change these things, these traits. But when you realize that this thing is now a part and parcel of this person, right? You have to make a decision there. Is it something that you can deal with? If you can deal with it, then you must accept it. You must not compare them to somebody else moving forward. But if it's not something that you can accept or deal with, then you realize that this relationship may not be as close, or there is what's what I'm looking for.
In short, you might have to step out.
Exactly, you may have to step out. So it's not something that you might want to pursue too intimately. You might still be their friend, but you might not necessarily be so close to them. They can be family members. It doesn't mean that you have to be so close to them, right?
That's true.
So you must determine, if it's something that is changeable, something that is you can work on, right? If it's not changeable, you have to now determine, is this something that is acceptable to me, something that I'm okay with, something that, I'm going to accept you for who you are, I'm going to love you, or I can't accept this is just a no for me. And if you love yourself enough and love the person enough to walk away, love doesn't necessarily mean that you have to always be in close proximity. You can love somebody forever, right? So I think, to answer your question, you need to first of all decide if it's something that you're willing to accept or not. And then you can determine if you would move ahead with the relationship.
Yes, right. And last week we spoke about integrity. I don't know if I don't think I really spoke about it deeply, but you also mentioned it, and because of that, I would just like buttress it, right? When you decide, you've decided, right? And especially when it comes to a marriage relationship, right? Once you decide that this person you want to get married to, and you've already married the person, I don't know if I have a lot of married people listen to this podcast, but in case you're married and listen to this podcast, once you're already married, it's done. You just have to become a person of integrity and just tell yourself, I choose this. This is my lot to bear, right? This is my cup of tea, and I must just drink it, right? If the person was slim initially and the person added weight, it happens. Take her to the gym, try, see if it's a medical condition. If it doesn't work out, like she loses weight or something like that, right? Or he loses weight because she's always like exercise. I know your man is having pot belly, for example. Know that you chose him and stick to your words. Be that person that when you say something, you actually do it. But if it now comes to a character trait that is it's like my husband not liking me or not liking my jovial person. Maybe thought I was serious. Because I look serious sometimes from outside. They now come to know me. Now that this guy's a clown. This guy's a serious person. And he wants that to change. It's practically impossible. Very, very possible, because it's part of my character, right? And there's no that choice that exists for him.
I was going to just jump in there and say that for something like weight, you can actually work on it. As long as it's not a medical condition, you can actually work on it as a person. You can actually go to the gym and, change, appearance and work on your appearance and improve how you. But there's some actual characteristics of somebody that you just cannot change, and you just have to make your peace with it, like you said. You really have to.
You really have to make your peace with it, because if you don't do that, you just realize that you are just living a life of. You just be sad, basically. You just be sad, and then you just realize that why can't you just say, why can't this person change? Why can't this person change? Why can't this person do that? But the person cannot, and you just have to go understand that. And something I would just say is that people have history. When I was first planning the podcast the first time before this last record, this one I released, was that people have history. People have the things that made them. People have their experience. They have their trauma. They have their backlog. They have everything that makes them who they are now. Then you now met somebody after they've lived 20 something years of their life, and they now say, young man, you joke too much. You need to learn how to be a serious person. How does the person do that? Please let me understand. This person has been the way they have been all through their life, right? But you want to change them. It doesn't work like that. And it's also the part where I say people have their trauma. Most of the times when people are going through something, most of the time when you see somebody who is just naturally on the surface, a very hard face, or maybe almost a negative vibe, right? Just a vibe that you can't flow in easily with, right? Now I'm that kind of person that when you just meet me, you don't need to just spend 2 minutes with me, we're already besties. But there's some people that you actually need to take time to get to know them, to flow with them. They won't just open up to you. This person has probably gone through some experiences in the past. They've gone through things that made them to close up. They've gone through things that, has affected them. And like you say, the moment I decide, like, okay, I will stop being selfish and I will look to them, I will stop passing the responsibility to them, and I will look at how can I be responsible in this situation. Then in that moment, things begin to get better.
I actually want to ask you a question. So I know we're talking about comparing, maybe our partners to other people, our friends to other people. Now I want to ask you, how do you work? Because it's something that I'm still trying to learn as well. How do you work on or navigate situations where you are comparing yourself to somebody? Like you're seeing that, okay, this person has this trait I really like, I really admire, I don't have it, and I'm so sad about that. So how do you navigate that?
Okay, so it will be under the segment of like the self-comparison, right? Because it comes not just even for a relationship with, but even from other people in the world. But instead of talking about kind of relationship, I'll just keep it that way. And I think we'll just take it to the next point when I talk about identity issues. Because everything for self, with external comparison, like comparing other people, right? It still lies on the bedrock of your identity, knowing who you are. And not just knowing who you are, accepting who you are. That's what I've realized that most people falter in. The second one, acceptance. So a lot of people know who they are, right? You're a Christian, you know who you are in Christ. You've downloaded Ephesians 2:10. You've downloaded all the I'm a royal priesthood, a holy nation. You know God's masterpiece, God's beloved. What other thing exists? All the forms of God's daughter, God's own. Ladies, we know how to do this thing with our specialty. But ladies that know how to do it, they are still the ones that are suffering from self-esteem deposits. It's still the problem, right? Because you don't see men saying, "I am Jesus boy." I see some guys do it, but most guys don't do it. It's the girls that do Jesus' girl. But girls are still the one that have, don't get me wrong, boys also suffer from self-esteem issues. It's just that the expression is different, right? And even worse, in my opinion, way worse compared to ladies, right? But girls are the ones that carry this on their head. And you see the ones that suffer from it. Why? It's because even though they know who they are, they have not accepted who they are. I was having this thought 2 days ago, and I think I had written it one time in when I was writing about the articles, an article to choleric ladies, right? And one thing is that know your strength. That's what I was talking to them. Know the kind of person you are, right? Know that you're a stronger lady. Know that you're not that kind of lady that a man will say, I want to help, like naturally, because it almost seems like you are like competing with them because of your kind of nature, right? Know that reality about yourself and make peace with it. Accept it. So know that, for example, you already mentioned the fact that you're introvert, right? You're reserved. And then you have a friend who is just jovial and you just want to be like her. The truth about the matter is that you cannot be like her. The moment you try to crack a joke, people will not get it. And it will sting deeper. It will sting way deeper. And the way you try to act like her, I was looking like, it's just okay right now. It's fine.
What's going on?
What's going on? Right? It's not weird for them. But you know yourself. You know that this is who I am. I am reserved. You accept it. Once you accept it, like when I mean accept it, be joyful in who you are.
Yes.
When you realize how joyful, when you got to that stage of acceptance, you will begin to see where you shine. You realize, I was listening to, very weird, to Barney yesterday night. With my Barney and friends.
Barney and Friends, Barney.
I know. It's weird. I was watching Barney and Friends yesterday, and then there was a line that he said. I wanted to actually repost on my status. I think I'll post it probably today or tomorrow. And he was saying that you are unique, and there's a reason for why you are here, and nobody can replace that. And nobody can do what you're supposed to do. I mean, Scripture has said it already, right?
Yes.
But I'm not saying that Barney also said it. So with Gen Z kids that watch Barney and Friends growing up, I think we should respect also.
Yes,
right?
Yes,
but
respect the authority of Barney.
Yeah, but I mean that's just a joke by the side. But the question is that, who are you? That's the question I ask everybody. But a lot of people ask me this question. I'm comparing Oluchi, how do I stop it? I'm comparing my friends to me, how do I stop it? I told them, like for your own case, like in this situation where you're just like you were talking about like being like reserved, and that's the answer to the question. But there are more intricate issues like maybe you're seeing your friends who have gone ahead, right? And you're wondering, how do I navigate this? That's a very also another vital area.
That's
People
a
have
very,
compared
very, very
themselves.
important. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one is even a greater trigger, right? Where people say, my friend has gone ahead of me, what do I do? Damn, and things like that. And I told one person I was discussing it with just this past week, right? And I told her that know who you are, number one, like I said already. Know where you are going, number two.
Yes.
And know where you are at, number three. These were the 3 points that I gave to her. Everybody is going on a different journey. You cannot be jealous of somebody or compare yourself to somebody. If you're going to take in a flight and the person is going by road, the person will start out before you. If you're going from point A to point C, right? And the distance between point A to point C takes around 10 hours by road, but 2 hours by flight. If the person that is going by road leaves by 6 a.m. in the morning and gets to point B before you, why are you jealous? Because you are going by flight. So you have the luxury of time to wait and prepare yourself even more compared to the other person.
Never thought of it that way before. Sorry to cut you, but that's a very interesting analogy. Please go on.
And you know why I'm going by flight? Because I am soaring on eagle's wings. That's why. Because I know that, and my father lives in heaven, so I don't deal with things on the ground.
Preach it. And that's very interesting, actually. I never thought of it that way, but I think that's a very, very important and fantastic point that you made there, actually. Know where you are, know where you're going to, know where you're coming from, right? Interesting. Please go on. Sorry, I'm just
Yeah, it's fine, because sometimes some people are starting journey from point B and here in point A. Like you said, why are you like, so someone's already living in point B and they're all going to point C and you're in point A and you are feeling bad about yourself. Please, how can you help that situation? How can you solve it? Most of the times we are continue.
I'm so sorry, but what you're saying is just painting a picture in my mind. It's like mosaic pieces. So people that like art, or if you don't know, you can just Google it. It's like mosaic pieces. So mosaic pieces are made from different tiny particles, right? With different shapes and different sizes. So no one particular particle is the same as the other particle. They have their own unique shape and their own unique structure. But as a whole, they make a beautiful picture. And if even just one piece of that puzzle is removed from the mosaic picture, it removes the beauty of the entire picture. So every single particle, no matter how tiny it is extremely important. The shape, the size, the color is all important to make a whole piece. And I just feel like that is how we human beings are. We are all mosaic pieces. The problem is that we are so short-sighted as humans, and it's a natural human instinct, which is you only see yourself. But you don't realize that you're part of a bigger picture. The way you are shaped, the way you look, your race, the family you come from, the way you speak, where you went to school, the way you think, it's all part of a bigger picture. And if you lose yourself, you lose the part of you that should make or should bring out the color, the beauty of the picture. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense, complete sense, all right? And it even reminds me of, I was just having a thought yesterday night, and I was saying, I should discuss this on the podcast. It's called the main character syndrome. We are all suffering from that. Everybody in this world at this moment is suffering from the main character syndrome. And sorry, it's not that I found the term. I don't know if it exists. Maybe I should check if it exists as a thing. But let me tell you what I call the main character syndrome. Basically, everybody thinks that they're super important. Everybody thinks that the world revolves around them. Everybody thinks that they are the sole heir and owner of everything, right? And it's the natural selfish nature of the fallen man, right? That is how it's supposed to be. Everybody looks to themselves. Me. And nobody sees themselves, like you said, everybody's myopic, right? Nobody sees themselves beyond themselves. They don't see themselves on a broader scale. If they see themselves on a broader scale, it's them standing on top, impacting the world, right? They're standing on top, impacting the world. They don't see themselves as something tiny in the world, right? So, it's very interesting. I don't know how we landed here.
How did we get here?
But,
oh my goodness.
But I hope that you're learning, and I hope that you're listening, and I hope that you're getting transformed, right? So let's just conclude on the matter of identity. In the sense that if you're here, you're listening to me, and you're bashing anything regarding like identity, reach out to me. Please really do. I'm trying to create like a course that will help people like go through this journey, right? I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about. I'm planning it, right? Create something that will help people. I need people to actually like start it up with, right? It will really be nice. So if you're listening to me and you just want to just join, right? Step by step processes that people will go through. And at the end of it, by the grace of God, you would have come to a renewed knowledge, right, of who you are. And a renewed and accepted knowledge. So it's not just knowing, but also, like I said initially, accepting and blossoming in it. So guys, that's everything I would want to say today. I'll ask Blessing to give our final words.
Oh, so I think this has been very insightful. I have personally learned a lot actually. And I think the most important thing for me is appreciating yourself, appreciating other people. So once you understand that there's a reason for the way you are, like your design, your makeup, and there's a reason for the design and the makeup of the other person, you start to look at the beauty of who they are, and you start to, just be more open to new experiences, and just, stop comparing yourself or the other person to people. So yeah, I've learned a lot today. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy that you're here. I just wanted to just not talk about this with somebody, and I'm happy that you decided to up on the call, right?
Please, and guys, don't compare yourself.
Yes, don't. So for me, for my own final words, I would say, like Blessing just said, don't compare yourself. Love yourself, right? And the scripture says, love your neighbor as yourself, right? That means love yourself and love your neighbor. Those are it's inside that one instruction, because of the word as yourself, right? And the truth is that people don't love themselves. If you start talking about what it means to love yourself, forget it. It's a different podcast, right? It's a whole different topic, guys. So to know is to love. So how to love yourself first is to first know who you are and accept who you are, right? And extend that same grace to your partners, your friends, to anybody in your life, your parents. Know them and accept them. And I would like to just end this podcast with, I want to give you guys the luxury of deciding what you want us to discuss next week. Next time. I want to give you the luxury of deciding what you want us to discuss next time, right? So if you have any topic on your heart, if you have anything on your heart, I say, okay, I actually want to hear your opinion about this, feel free, right, to message. And if you enjoy Blessing be here, please say, Blessing, come back.
Comment down in the section below. I'll be reading your comments actually.
All right then. Thank you so much, Blessing. That's been a very amazing conversation with you. And I will say God bless you and see you next time.